So, well, I think we are always working together very closely with plan body. I remember this will be our okay, first for the 2025 impact, but I think last year or even the previous year, we also contribute some other topics, for example, in tree borrowing or other topics. But why we are active in Northern Impact? Because upcoming, I think Penang itself also we will have a lot of projects coming up, right? For example, the LNG, the new airport, all these unique special products, special chemicals, construction chemicals, we have all these projects. And today we pick up two topics. We have two speakers here. The two topics can be very, very interesting. One, we are talking about waterproofing. But of course, my colleagues, he will share with you only for the products. Today is not going to sell you products. In my house, we are not coming here to sell products. But we're coming here to share our experience and let you know what else other than taxation, what else you have to pay attention. I don't want to say a lot more, but I want to let you know what are the important things you have to pick up on that. Of course, 1 hour session will be not enough. He will try his best to tell you, to show you some of these that if you do things, what the main things like that. Will be very, very interesting. Second topic will be presented by my colleagues, Coco. Yesterday, as soon as we arrived, we walk around Penang for projects. We are not come here for makan. So what is upcoming? Yeah, those very popular spots in Penang right now. Anybody know this? The sports game. What is that? Everybody like So I want to say, we will tell you more. But very interesting part, I think this is the popular thing in the market. How to use, address it, and do it properly. I think here already start forming, we call it market forming everywhere. Yeah. So the name also part of it. So I really prefer to say. For my introduction, I just want to let you know market. We have a slide. I have a couple of slides here to just introduce Mbappe to you. Okay. Anybody know who is Mbappe and what are we doing? You know, Mbappe is blue color. Okay. All right. There's some stats here. First of all, we were started in 1937. Here, so another graph is that where our is. Okay. From the photo, this is a very meaningful photo. This is the first market family photo started in Iraq. And you can see the background. Okay, it's their house. First house to create the market program. And these houses in this house in Milan, they keep it until today. It converted into the marketing center. That house is still existing. So if you got a chance to visit market activity, you still can able to see the price. That part that far they used to deliver the product to the This is very meaningful for those. So they keep it until today. Okay. And Mbappe today is still in the family business. Company, meaning that we will very emphasize into the product solution, product application, and custom things about the market. Yeah. So I listed company whereby many of the companies, very pay attention to the topic. So Mbappe is not going to that section. We are more on the biology. Okay, this photo is to show you this is 67 years from last year, 68 years from this year. So this slide to show you where are we dependent. Okay, as you can see that in the European country, especially Western Europe, Eastern Europe, is the whole of the top. It's all our manufacturing plant and also our R&D center, and also the headquarters in Milan, this is Italy. So Italy itself is the highest contribution of the leader. In Italy, If you go to anywhere, you just say you're from Marseille, then they know for you work with a very big company. Why the Marseille so famous in Italy? To be honest, today Marseille, I think what I call it in the past, the bank of the product is the power of this product. You know the blue for the power. Now, that for sure you know this. What is the best house or marbles or granite you are saying, or the most luxury that from each country, from Italy, and we always say from Italy. So when they have this finishing, for sure they need a very good, strong community. Okay, so that's why Mbappe work together, and it started 1937. Already they have this best performance this program. So, I cannot forget. Heritage building, it belongs to the other one of the division called historical. It's not in heritage building yet. Mbappe would have a full range of historical product. But if you are an artist, we can do an around of a top. Obviously, I can tell you, if you're talking about local levels, taken here, we just know where is the place. If really you want to go deeper, I all my colleagues from Italy, because we got a lot of experience to share. Unfortunately, Malaysia, okay, places like Penang, Malacca, we have typical music. But when it comes to repair, if you really pay attention to what product that you're no, it's what line product, three line. Like inventory and the inventory. Yeah. So to that, people looking for cheap clothes, people don't know that they don't pay attention. They say, I have still got the fire historical building. They have roofs of more than 100 years. And it's more than 100 years, or they are actually recognized by the Jakarta, for instance. They are that type of building they consider in everything. They have to use I know the regulation is there, but the implementation is not strict. So yeah, we can have a lot of talk on that, but for Finland especially, that also need to go in. Okay, we go back to this one. So as you know that yeah, we have more than 136 plants from Malaysia. We have a plant in Asia in Milan. So this is our factory site in Milan. Started we moved into this plant to one plant. So in the period it's over 10 years. Started the production. In here we have a cement, we produce cementation and we product. Cementation product, for example, a lot of the product will be one component product. You mix the water, then you get product. This is very important because today we are trying to educate market know more things. And we can't have one people. And you have a lot of mistakes from problems. So cementation product, I think it's products as well. The products, for example, chemicals wise, they will have components, usually liquid and powder together. So liquid can be latex form, can be toxic form, can be all sort of chemical forms. Okay. And then we have R&D center, warehouse, our lab, our QC lab, our technical study. We also need a lot of training in these buildings here. Okay. Good news is Marpe is going to another plant, which is 1.5 meter in Senai this year. We are target to complete it by 2026. Okay, so it's all in the process. Now, and that's what I say, we also have this installation, but this is the program, what we have, okay, what we have from our corporate range. If our corporate range, we will have about 25 range. But not all can be done suitable for Malaysia to kind of stuff. We just think this is important. Today, our topic sport rock, okay? And also we are talking about our Christians. So in fact, I think last year when I was here, we are talking about the factory for 11, the suitable system for data center, for example, now we on semiconductors, those different of stuff. So hopefully one day we can do another topic for technology. Yes. Correct. Okay. So we are also very strong in the underground construction. For example, in MRT, they have underground, then there's a lot of people who are pushing. So anything where they need to relate with energy buffer so that you. I think that's it for my introduction. So I hope this 5 10 minutes will give you some ideas about market, of course, market Malaysia. And without delaying the time, I pass it to my colleague, the first speaker of the day, Anson. He will talk about the water cooling presentation. Thank you very much. Enjoy. So, once again, very good morning to everyone. Selamat pagi. Thanks for your valuable Saturday morning. And wake early in this rainy morning is not easy. And for me, if I'm still here, I will take over and do that as well. But today, since we are already spent time here, I wish that today we are also able to provide you some fruitful knowledge. Of course, I would say you as an architect, sometimes you have more knowledge than us, but we also have a certain kind of experience that we can share with you from the point of view of the supplier and the material. And also, we are more familiar with the application, how the application should be. So today, the topic will go around specification and how it should carry out and how it should actually spell out until how we can start to actually apply the specification correctly on time. Okay. So introduction to myself. So my name is Hanson, so I'm the second manager for water cooling at market. I'm actually from the HQ itself. So water cooling, okay, a lot of people will think that it's a very deep topic. Various kind of issues since day one, you cannot solve. Then all these things happening, especially in local industry. Because water cooling is something that very complicated. How to say that? Because most of the water cooling is applied on concrete slab. Maybe sometimes metal roof, and sometimes there are combination of material substrate. So for each project, the water cooling are the same. The detailing is always not enough. We need to study the project, how to actually do the detailing properly, and the problem is when copy and paste happen between projects, then the problem coming. The contractor will think, oh, every project is the same. Architect sometimes they think, oh, just copy and paste, but it doesn't actually translate to the new. Maybe the new project already got new detailing, different material, or different construction method. All this will affect how water cooling will do. Okay, so today, the big topic, what is specification? Okay, this is at least you have more knowledge than us, but we go through again. It's very basic thing. Okay, specification. Okay, why specification is important? Okay, specification can give you a good specification, give you all these valuable information. Okay, for example, clarity and precision. Okay, the better your specification spell out, the less leeway that the contractor or the applicator can play around. Okay, because a lot of times we spend much of the time at starting for what? Think about, whether is it in your specification, I didn't do this, it's not my wrong, all these things happening, bring time, okay? But a good specification will provide clarity and precision. How precise, the more precise of your specification means the better your work can carry out. Quality assurance, okay? We have to make sure the specification tell all the necessary standard, regulation, and the system that should be carried out during the work. So this translate as an actual quality assurance. Of course, another thing is coming up in the market, legal and contractual protection. Okay, nowadays market, I would say, okay, Malaysian market is not good right now. A lot of times people go to legal direction to address their problems. Okay, so because they don't want to reduce the water cooling, they will blame, they will start to point finger. And I believe that is, at a very difficult situation because I believe architect always back the fact that they know. Okay, but somehow during the project, they are sometimes forced to change to certain product that they do not know. And at the end, when problems arise, then all the arguments with the developers, with the owners, all this. So things are happening because people will think the word equivalent or value engineer is always caught up during the project. And in Malaysia, I would say that only 90% of the project is happening there. So when architect has agreed or approved the certain change of product without any preconditions, then the legal may go to the architect. So all these things is happening. Okay. And of course, cost control. Okay, what do you say cost control? The more specific your specification, meaning you have less VO. The room of VO is actually not there. So you can actually, the budget is as per what the work carry out. Maybe sometimes will be cheaper. So this is the cost control and combine all the regulations behind the Malaysia standard, the standard, all these regulations we have compliant and coordination and communication. Okay, with a good specification. It's just that I will always think architect is the director of the movie. Okay, the project is a movie. And specification is script. So with a good script, you can talk to your actors, everyone in your movie, to actually direct them and communicate clearly what you want and they know what they need to do. Okay, so the communication part and of course the time management is important with a good script, everyone will talk the same language. Not that in control its own idea, application its own idea. What specifies to be correct, let them carry out your work. Sustainability and innovation, of course, you can have all the green effort during your specification and maintenance and future reference, and at the end, risk management. So, yeah, just think about the specification style, all these things. You actually contain all these things, and you need to first start design of the project, the creative, you decide, and you have to start from your brain, the creativity into paper. So that is the difficult part. Okay, because I believe architects do use both of their brain, left side and right side. You need to be very creative, at the same time you need to be very practical. So this is the challenge, how to actually translate. Of course, all the material that you use, all the not only waterproofing, material that you use, the concrete that you use, you can spell out. Okay, and of course today we will focus on the waterproofing side. So specification, basically for me is the lighthouse of all the boats from the sea. Okay, it's the direction, it's the script. The movie is the script. Just imagine your most like your favorite movie without a script, it cannot go. Okay, unless you are the Hong Kong Wong Kar Wai, those script one. Okay, but you cannot get the type of film. You cannot get Tony Leung every day. So you have to have the script to let the see. Okay, so yeah, architect again respect your work. That is not easy. Okay, so of course we talk about waterproofing. Okay, and these are the few standards. These standards I believe you already have globally, you have experience with it, and these are the standards that involve certain type of waterproofing. Okay, that you then need to start off what type of waterproofing product, how you do the termination, what is the design criteria. So this, of course, I won't go into very deep, but you can see we have flat roof standard, what you should consider during your flat roof, what is the gradient, all this is spelled out. We have, for example, below ground, of course, this more sometimes more worry of the civil engineer. Okay, what is the three accounting that you need to use? Vapor control, water permeability, how the waterproofing should be tested. Okay, then we have also the design of balcony terraces. Okay, mostly I still refer back to the DM because they have more of the set of human. Of course, if you want to find something near here, PCA is also a very good reference that you can actually refer to. In Malaysia, I'm not sure maybe you can give me some enlightenment. Do we have already adopt this standard into the building? So yeah, so this is more or less the whole thing about area that we need to take care of the waterproofing. So, but with all this information, okay, how the waterproofing product can be, okay, we have to start from somewhere. Okay, for example, market. What is the difference market between, let's say, a local producer or let's say compared to our daily price income? Okay, so how we come up with the waterproofing product? Okay, so this is where I want to start. How market come up with their own product? Okay, waterproofing product. No, uh, in my profit is not less than 100. Okay, as far as I know, waterproofing involved in waterproofing product and involved in waterproofing not less than 100. Okay, so every day you are looking at different kind of waterproofing. Sometimes roller applied, sometimes cementation, polyurethane, hybrid, or we have all these terms. Okay, in the waterproofing product range, and you of course you will have a selection difficulty because the knowledge base is so wide. Okay, and I believe in your busy daily schedule, you do not have time to actually study each one. Okay, of course now with the AI with analysis search, okay, ChatGPT what is the comparison between this and this, but sometimes it is wrong. Okay, the AI is not so smart yet. In this time, maybe another 10 years is better than me to compare. So all these type of chemical base, we can have signature alpha bitumen, polyurethane, acrylate, we have polyurea, PVC membrane, then we have cotton membrane. This type of material base, we also have different kind of properties. For example, it can come in a roll form. Okay, and the question is why we come out with roll form? What is the difference between a roll form and a liquid applied membrane? All this will be come involved in the selection of the waterproofing. Certain kind of resistance, for example, trafficable waterproofing, exposed, resistance to UV, or some cases near sea, you need to have the chloride resistant. Okay, we also can determine by the strength properties. Okay, and also physical dimension. What is the final thickness that you need to apply for the waterproofing? And at the end, how elastic you want your waterproofing to be. So these are the parameters that define a waterproofing. Okay. In a nutshell, it's a lot of information that actually will sometimes confuse everyone. Okay. So as a producer, of course, we have the first-hand inform all this material. We have the first-hand experience. So from there is where supplier come into advising. We have our own specification team to actually advise you which area need to use which type of material according to your requirement. So of course, when we develop all these waterproofing products, we don't simply just say, today I have let's say I have a ton of a peel of bitumen, maybe from the roadside. Okay, I start to lay it out, become a coating, then it become a waterproofing. It cannot be, okay, because of course Mape, you know, 1937, come from Italy, from the family. Now I'm very grateful that Mape still have it's still a family business. The son has actually the grandson has already taken over the business, and the idea of doing good product is still there. So how we come up with all the waterproofing products? Okay, we have certain standards to actually we want to make. Okay, we not say we just have a chemical, we do the something like a liquid we can apply on site already can actually fulfill the waterproofing properties. So these are the standards that we sometimes we follow, okay, to actually do our product. Okay, so we have our ideas of certain products. We ask the R&D to actually formulate it, and the formula, the end product should meet these kind of products. Okay, for example, EN1504 is a protective coating for concrete.
So waterproofing is fall under here. So in this type of so-called EN1504, it provides the standards. Okay, EN1504 is a BS standard. So MAPE doesn't own it. It also every year will actually modify. So we have to look at this standard and say, okay, we need to achieve certain tests is compulsory. So for 25 tests, we need to, let's say, achieve 10 tests. So to make sure the compulsory test is achieved, to make sure this waterproofing can perform under as a waterproofing membrane. Because waterproofing membrane is not pain. Okay, we are talking about 10 to 20 years of durability. You have to sustain UV, rain, snow in some country. Then it actually have to cater for the movement of the structures also. We cannot actually have any debonding or something like that to happen. So it can protect the concrete well. So for EN1404, it actually spell out all the test parameter for us. Then we need to test at minimum the compulsory test. Okay, then we start to clarify and actually specify that this product is according to EN1504. Just for example, one of our oldest product, Mapelastic 30 years product, every year we are adding in tests because all these tests will take time to test. Then we add in what we have already tested on that. For example, adhesion of concrete. Yeah, easy test, maybe 28 days you can achieve. But something like the adhesion after the heat source, it may take around 2, 3 months or 6 months to get that because we actually test it into the very extreme environment. Heat, crystal, or sometimes like immersion into water. All this will take time to actually complete. But we have a route map. EN1504 is a route map for us to test. So this come the thing that when we want to specify, okay, you now of course I'm in this industry for 14 years. I just find that the specification become more and more general. For example, now I can see specifications that pure polyurethane based coating, full stop. Then this open up to a lot of rooms. You do not have a standard to adhere to. You do not have a something to refer to. Okay, so let's say for example, this is one of there are other products that have this type of testing. You just specify EN1504. Okay, you have the material have to test against this. Then when things happen, okay, when things happen, things go sour, developer want to ask the architect back. So why you specify this product? Because I specify according to the standard. This product already is according to EN1504. In the market, there are no other thing that better than this and recognized as a waterproofing product. But let's say you are just a generic pure polyurethane coating, and the supplier maybe sometimes is from just China or local market. Then where is the base of argument? There is no more argument. So we have to have all these standards to back why you want to have the testing. And we believe that, and we want to challenge our product also with test against this standard to let the user confident to use all these product. Okay. So this is one of the example. We also have this standard EN14891. Okay, nowadays you all know that we have a lot of cost new construction method that we need to actually adhere tiles directly on waterproofing. Actually, there is a specific standard for it. So actually to clarify direct tiles on application, the waterproofing, the whole system have to actually achieve this. Okay, the standards. So for example, you have to have the adhesion strength more than 0.5. Okay, so we according to this standard, we actually even you want to carry out some site pull off, we will according to this standard 0.5 the whole system, waterproofing adhesive on the tiles we pull off at least 0.5, and this one have to test from lab. We have to achieve crack bridging 0.75. So in MAPE, we do not talk about a lot on the elongation because I'm not sure previously you have shown on the crack bridging test or not. It's totally different. For example, this EN154, we go back. Okay, we don't find elongation of break here. We don't test that because elongation is something that we test like that. We pull the thing until it breaks. Okay. So if we only test on the percentage of changes, a chewing gum can achieve more. I confirm you, maybe 2000% chewing gum. Red bridging is something that we test. I didn't prepare the slide here because it's quite technical. Uh, may spoil your Saturday morning. So, but red bridging is something that we apply on a substrate, and we have a repeated movement onto stress onto the membrane. Okay, this actually make sure it perform as per your site, because the waterproofing is going to sit on your RC roof for 10, 20 years. Every day the slab will move. So this is the toughness of the waterproofing to actually to sustain the day, the durability. Okay, so the test also got its own meaning. So from, of course, if you want to know more, we can share more. Maybe I go to your office for, let's say, another 2 hour session to discuss about the why this test is important, why this test is important. So that's why the roadmap of the test is important for us. Okay. So we go back to here. So these standards, okay. Of course, we have another standard 13956. Okay, another set of standards for the PVC synthetic membrane. Okay, so this they also spell out a lot of standard, the minimum requirement, and the product we sell, we have to meet the minimum. Uh, okay. Yes. Yeah. So as I said, okay, the standards is not free to pay. Okay, of course now I know, basically most of the specification no need to put in the brand name, okay, or cannot put in the brand name. But the standards you can actually insert there. With let's say you want you specify a TPO membrane according to tested against EN 13956. This is already sufficient to actually filter out a lot of uh unknown source of material. So this is always, so you do not need to actually specify the brand name, but you can first the chemical base. For example, you want TPO membrane tested against EN 13956. For marble plastic, or maybe you just put cementitious mortar tested against EN 1504. The standard is important. Okay, of course, if you can put our name, I will be more happier. But it's not as an architect, maybe you cannot do that. So the standards. Today we are talking about how to make the specification good. Yes, when the standards is in there, you already filter out a lot of inferior product. So when people come with any VE proposal equivalent, yeah, that is a definite. You need to show me this test first. So it already filtered out a lot of inferior product. So of course we this is how we do our product. Okay, we have R&D team, we have our QC team, we have our sales team to actually know what the market want. We get the R&D to come out and test according to all these standards. But of course, you know that waterproofing products, when go out to the site, another challenge. Who can apply? What is the best practice? Okay, this should be in the specification as well. Okay, and what you have to ask the supplier for certain level of support on this, but and how to QC check it later I will show a bit. Then now what is the best practice of waterproofing application? This I believe you already heard many times, but it's still good to actually refresh. Okay, so we go about that. Okay, so basically, okay, substrate gradient. Okay, when you have gradient enough to drain off the water, basically your roof is already 80% waterproof. It won't leak if you do not have the problems of water ponding. So according to the just now talking about the EN standard and even BCA, 1 to 80, okay, is the advisable gradient for flat roof. And in the standard, very special terms one. Okay, 1 to 80 is the actual. achieve on site that you need to do. Okay. But the standard tell you if you want to specify, please specify 1 to 40. Why? Anyone can, why we need to specify 1 to 40? Yes, the buffer. The buffer to actually make, when you specify 1 to 40, you get 180. If you specify 180 means you get 1 to 160. Yeah. The problem is we have sometimes we have belief that what we specify will actually realize on site. But in terms of the construction method, the workers that we have, okay, the 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 idea of main con to completing, okay, is very challenging. Okay, the mindset, because I have made some concrete plaster recently, some seafood are really, really old already one. They say nowadays the concrete is cast by non-professional. Last time when we talk about construction, concrete should be done by really an experienced guy. But now this thing may differ also because of the experience. Okay. So even the standard itself already tell you, please leave some buffer. Please go ahead. But in a local market, Malaysian market, we are talking about 1 to 120. Now I think 1 to 100. Okay. Even 180 is very difficult to see. Yeah. So, but here is the backup. When we talk about, let's say go sour again, the project. Why specify 100? Where is your base? Huh? Who tell you to do that? Architect, this architect. And then you got nothing to back you up. But if you, according to the standards, 180, yeah, this is already recognized by EN. Yes. So, mm, yes. Yes. So, okay, if let's say, for example, if you are doing it with a script, okay, anything more than 50, we actually advise you to put in BRC. And of course, if you have a long span, maybe you have to consider different kind of flow, not one direction. You can have two direction or maybe up to three. So you can cut short your span to make the thickness um, more reasonable. Of course, yeah, as an architect, you also need to rather practical to spout out certain like 7 inches of script on top. But a practice of script, for example, 50 we can consider maybe the BRC 6 is good, is always good. If not, we have all the crack script. But of course, until today, okay, actually KL side and Penang side, I believe instead of scrape for roof, a lot of time they already specify chipping mix, high grade chip. So usually we have this outlet for water flow, right? But if the screening is maybe at the end there, maybe it's 1 inch, 2 inch, but the what I call the cut. So I will skip the mic first. I don't have but okay. So yes, things happens, okay, when we do not. continue with Mike. So if let's say you are that is how you actually treat the different level issue of the. So you do a gradient on the concrete substrate, you apply the concealed waterproofing, then you only protect it with the screed. Okay. I do not have the. So yeah, that's why the concrete surface have to have the gradient itself first. Uh, yes, yes. Because okay, the gradient of this substrate is talking about where the waterproofing is have applying. So when we have a concrete, normally concrete doesn't pass to fall. A lot of main cons say they cannot do. But if you have that situation, do a base screed first. Make sure the gradient, the surface that you apply the waterproofing can flow into the floor track, then you only cover with the protective screen. So the water will go into the uh, downpipe eventually. Yeah. Okay. It will be actually flush to the concrete surface. In that case, conceal. Yes. Okay. Okay. If let's say after we do the waterproofing, we will have the top up screen. So you are asking about the MT of the yes. So actually that side you can actually apply additional waterproofing just at the downpipe area. Yeah, because the issue is that how to say, because even the water seep from the, let's say, the empty area, if the base grid already with the gradient, it will still flow under the, it won't go into the concrete, it will flow under the down. Okay. So if you want to more better completion, okay, please do more one coat of onto the between the screed and the concrete. And of course, now we also go to the direction of a lot of exposed system. Okay, we do the screed nicely or chipping mix with gradient. Straight away, it will flush with your downpipe. Then we apply the waterproofing on top. Okay, good thing about this thing, you know the advantage of the exposed system. It have to be UV resistant, and you can actually check back where is the defect. Okay, a lot of times we've been asked to go site visit, do refurbishment project. Hey, where is the leakage point? What we on top we only can see screed, crack screed. We do not know what waterproofing is used there unless we do a damaging test. Okay, so we even cannot patch repair the damage that done to the waterproofing because we do not know where is the leakage. Okay, the leakage can be happen there, but actually the botcher is in it. So this is something that we do not foresee. So if a lot of claim expo season come with this advantage, okay, you do not need to do double screed. In this case, you do not need to do the base screed. Then you do not you do one time of screed, then you lay the waterproofing onto the screed. Then it can, and the level will be all according to what the gradient that you can create is more. You do not have the worry of different level. Where is the waterproofing seep bigger? So the level will be more synchronized in this case. Yeah. And of course, in terms of the design of the downpipe, okay, a lot of times we also doesn't have a lot of recess area. Okay. Because downpipe, a lot of times we want to do the gradient until the downpipe, and we believe that the site will happen as such. On paper, yes, very nice. It can flow directly, but most of the time the site doesn't happen. Even have a 5 mm difference, the downpipe is higher than the screed, you will still have water ponding. So in European, how they do it, always there are big recess, maybe a uh maybe a 300 recess, 10 mm down. So all the water will flow there. So this is something that the method of construction that can include this recess around the downpipe, so the water can flow down. Doesn't affect only by the workmanship of the screeder. So the in the design wise, you can propose the recess around the downpipe just to make sure the water all go there. Yeah. So this is something that is regarding the detailing. So that's why in terms of specification, drawing is very important. And we know that when we talk, just now you can see the communication between what you have in mind, the drawing, until how we spell it out. Yes, this communication is very important. And I find that it's very, we need to really improve on this type of communication to make sure the conversation is clear between supplier, architect, and even the working team. So of course, later I will show you more on the detailing and how we can actually assist in this type of situation. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, okay. For exposed waterproofing, okay, basically we will have products that are more proof, okay, better tensile strength. You can walk on it. For example, even bituminous membrane, you actually can do simple maintenance work. You can walk around. But let's say you have a terrace that you are going to have party on it. We have something like polyurea. Better you can walk on it directly, okay, and it doesn't actually affected damage by all the cigarettes, but all these things. So so the usage of the roof will be the determining factor how we select the exposed system for you. Yeah. So of course, another best practice for waterproofing, okay, it will be the substrate condition. Okay, new project, of course, we do not have all this headache lah. Normally, and nowadays, a lot of contractor already listen, okay, they need to give a flat, thorough, smooth surface that can apply your waterproofing, okay, they will do that. And we actually propose, okay, actually the standard is to have a 28 days. Everyone will like that, huh? Missed already. So 28 days, okay, why 28 days? Of course, everything will have a reason why we need 28 days of curing time, because 28 days is actually the ultimate development of the concrete. The concrete not only develop the strength, it already stopped shrinkage. It already stopped the dimension instability. Okay. During these 28 days, what will happen is it may crack, it may have dimensional change. So all these things, if not stable, the concrete is not stable. If you apply waterproofing on it, it may change. Okay, but nowadays, of course, the concrete technology that we have, okay, 14 days is something that we are looking at to more comfortable to apply the waterproofing, because they have all these fast setting admixtures to make the thing better perform and the strength develop faster. So 14 days is now we actually allow the, the, the applicator to do that. But of course, someone is always push the limit. 3 days. That they'll always have people, okay, doing the 3 days. For example, foundation wall, or today class 3 days, please ask me to do the thing. So this all happens, but with that, the applicator should know the risk. They should see the substrate, and at the end, they need to precondition with the contractor. Okay, it may happen something. If a big crack happen after the 3 days and I already apply, then please, you have to compensate to reapply again. Yeah, so always contractor want to push the limit. Okay, and of course, in some cases, a professional applicator, when they go to site, let's say they want to apply the car wash, they will see different kind of script. Okay, some kind of script is so nice, so flat. It's not still trouble. That you cannot see a single trace of aggregate. Okay, you touch on it, it's so smooth. But a professional applicator will know how to test it. For example, a simple water test, because that type of script sometimes is done by you mix the cement with the polymer, then you just scratch one very thin coat on that. Okay, the surface very nice, but the water even cannot penetrate through. So it affect the bonding. So there are a lot of simple tests that can do on site to check, okay, the script, is it good enough to apply with a waterproofing product? Okay, so this is the simple test that you all see lah. We just drop some water. Okay, let's see. Just drop some water droplets. If water cannot penetrate, not a lot of waterproofing product can penetrate. So is it like say I need to redo the script? No. We find ways. We do the sanding on the surface. This is should be done by the applicator to basically to improve the adhesion. Yeah. So the applicator should worry their waterproofing work. Okay. So specialist applicator will advise back certain things need to be done. Okay, but let's say this step, if already spelled in the specification, surface preparation, at least we do not need to talk about additional cost or something on this side. It's already included in the waterproofing wood. Very important. Yeah. So if you have better product or refurbishment, maybe you need more heavier machineries to actually do the surface prep. For example, you can use shot blasting machine, use the steel bead to actually stick onto the surface to create a rough surface. Okay, and in some cases you need to do high water jet. Okay, it depends. Mostly it's happen on certain factory or old roof that already contaminated that we need to actually scrap off, especially all those chemical polluted substrate. We need to do all this kind of special equipment. And one of our famous product, okay, polyurea. Basically, we require this type of surface preparation. Yeah, because just to make sure the system can perform well. And include into the substrate preparation, we have to do all the crack repair, low spot, okay, low spot repair, honeycomb patches. This should be included into the surface substrate preparation scope. And chamfer, okay, we should not have any sharp protrusion, concrete droppings, and all the sharp external corner should be chamfered. All this is the practice, and an applicator should know this, a professional applicator, okay? And at the end is the proper corner treatment, angle fillet, or using mapping band to actually do the corner treatment of yours, okay? And best practice after application, what is the protection that provided on site? Later, I will show you some photo on after the applicator gone from the site, what happened to the waterproofing? Something that you cannot imagine also can happen. Yeah. And of course, in the job site, okay, supplier is not going to be 24 hours there. Architect also not able to 24 hours there. The only one that care about the work done is actually the applicator, okay, and the main con. So the applicator need to aware and they have the team to actually experience enough to tackle all the problem or the waterproofing, including how to check the substrate, how to communicate with the main con to the what they needed, and to apply the product correctly. Three very important. So this type of work only can done by a very professional applicator because the thing that they do have to be convincing enough for the main con. So the main con should understand why the applicator to know that. Okay, so this is we need to actually engage some certain experienced and competent applicator on that. So the last is of course quality check. Okay, so for example, MAPE actually provide all these quality checklists for the team on site to actually tick, okay, what has already been done, accepted, okay, what type of material to apply, how to apply it, what is the consumption need to be applied. All this you can actually, we have a checklist for you to use. So this is actually the tools for you to check, for the main con, for the architect to check the work already done correctly. Okay, and this is a paper. Of course, for quality check and testing tools, I believe you already have seen this. So this is the wet film thickness gauge. Okay, so during, for example, you are applying a waterproofing coating. While it's still wet, you actually use this to actually test what is the thickness already applied. Okay, example will be like this. This come out from MAPE lah. Okay, so this is the one that you can use to actually check. When the coating is still fresh, you push it down and see what is the thickness already applied. So for example, you know the system is going to have two coat, 2 mm. So the first layer you should have achieved 1 to 1.2. Okay. So if the first layer when you press down, hey, I achieve 1.2. Yes, this code already with enough consumption. So you can have a spontaneous check on site. This is a simple, very simple tools that you can do. In certain case, very high-end product, you can even carry out pull-off testing to make sure the system layer is done correctly. Pull-off testing is a disruptive test. So you actually install the dolly, you have a pull-off, then you pull. Okay, the substrate will come out also. So from there, you can see the layers, you can see what is the pull-off strength that you can get. Yeah. So all this testing is available and see how to actually specify into the BQ if you uh, intend to actually test your waterproofing system. So components of the specification work, of course, these three is the most common that we have. Okay, we have the specification clause, we have the detailed drawing, also we have the BQ. So a good specification clause, of course, for each product, we have our specification clause. Basically, is to spell out what is the description of application, how to apply the product, use what tools, the curing time, the waiting time between codes is all spelled out, and the description of the material properties. This is where the standard kick in, EN1404. We plug the parameters, what is the test that you required, okay? You spell out in the specification clause. Then we go with a BQ. Okay, so the BQ basically gives you a lot of information. Okay, the first, of course, is the system flowing, how to actually the system flow. What is the step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4? Okay, system flow, okay, the workflow, and you have all this, what I highlighted is all the specification is important. For example, surface preparation work. Yes, you need to do surface preparation work. The material to be used, for example, here, of course, we spell the name, but let's say if you have a generic name here and you have the standards here, it's already enough. Okay, so this is the, or for example, if you are using potable water, you need span registration. All this you can put in the specification. Okay. Equipment to be used. In this case, we also specify the buy mixer type if you have special equipment to be used. So the tenderer will know what they need to have before the tender for this job. Okay. And you have detailing information, for example, the upturn, how to do the upturn, and treatment to the rainwater downpipe, okay, with Bedok. So all the detailings have to be put into the specification. And the last one, of course, quality checking. Certain quality checking, you need some costs on it. So we spell out that, for example, no, if you want to do pull off, you want to do wet film thickness gauge, or in certain case, water ponding test, all this need to be spelled out in the specification. Yeah. So this is the information should a BQ that provide you. Of course, in the word form, some kind of detailing that you actually cannot spell out in the word form. So a drawing is always important. Yeah. So a drawing of, for example, this is a drawing which is the layer that we are going on, the detailing, how we terminate on the details and the downpipe can spell out in the drawing. So these three components actually come hand in hand. Then you can achieve a understandable script for the applicator and the main con. So this is the one with the objective you want to achieve your specification work. So after we have provide all this, start to tender, is it enough with all this paper drawing? We also cannot only depends on this because script is a script. Everyone in hand, we have this script, but the actors still need to be directed how to actually perform on site. Okay, so you know that, okay, construction a project is messy. I would say the time messy. Different kind of people. You have very rich people, developers, okay? You have professional people, architect, engineers. You have hands-on people, like the main contractor people. So all may think about different kind of language, okay? And when we have site meeting, a lot of times everyone talk, but nobody is listening, okay? Because no project can carry out without the understanding of each other. Okay, as a supplier, we also need to know what is the difficulties of architect, applicator, and main con. in terms of using the product and how we can improve that. Of course, as an architect, you are the director. You need to actually make sure every party, the work done, the work specified, the thing that we ask is practical enough and we can apply with quality. So the communication part become a very, I would say, the biggest issue on site. Too many people, too many range of people that we are communicated with. Okay, so this is a fact. Everybody can talk, but nobody listen. It's one of the major issues. Okay, that I think happening on sites. Parties involved in the building lifetime. You have developers, architect, QS, main con and subcon, manufacturers, building owners, and managers. So this is the parties, the actors in the building lifetime. Okay, building is the movie. So everyone is not perfect. We are human. Okay, we are not. Even computer will go wrong. AI will go wrong. It's proved already. So human will go wrong. Everyone will have some mistake that happens. The how the parties should work together is that we have to complement each other. For example, architect, you have many traits to worry about. You have the design, you have the space consideration, you have vapor, you have condensation, you have a tiny piece of waterproofing. Okay, maybe that one we can help you. So you need all this support. We know that, and we need to help you to actually oversee the design and see how the waterproofing can come in. Because at the end, all the project different detailing. We cannot actually use the same thing on each project. We have to have an eye on it. Okay. So, okay, you maybe have certain proper detailing specification. Okay. Sometimes may draw nicely on a drawing. When go on site, it's different. So that will be the argument point where the time and the cost problem come in. Okay. So all these things we have to help on with each other actually. So the main con, sometimes improper installation, inattention to details also will happen. So all these things will happen on site. And even manufacturer ourselves will also have our own issue. We we may have insufficient detailing for the market, okay? Because market always changing, construction method change, material usage change. Now we are not talking about in situ casting. We are talking about IBS. We are talking about PPVC. All different kind of detailing come out in this recent 2 to 3 years. Okay, everyone is pushing for IBS. But the detailing for IBS, is it sufficient? No. We are still try our best to actually go on site to test what is the detailing that we need to actually conquer the last defect that water can penetrate through. So this is the effort that we need to carry out. And we need to train our applicators, okay, efficiently, okay, and some of the product. Of course, we have 100 waterproofing product. Not all product we can go to the EN 1504. So this is it is a fact. We do have product doesn't go to the product the standards because we have not sufficient time to actually carry out the test, and sometimes the market really cannot uh, afford the EN 1504. Okay. And also building owners and managers. Now this party become a new, I would say newcomer. Because 10 years back, building owners and building managers that didn't have a lot of voice. A lot of things because maybe the construction back then don't have so much problem. Then suddenly 10 years from now, a lot of building owners and building managers come in. Okay, talking about I want to sue you, I want to claim this, I want to claim that. Okay, of course, I believe a lot of lawyer is also stirring the market. The legal rights. We have all the legal rights they want to say. But they come in with a lot of improper knowledge, improper experience, because what they hear is from the hearsay of the street or maybe from the hardware shop. So from there, they want to argue with the professionals, architect, all these things. It become like how to say the fight is already imbalanced fight. It's like fighting with a heavyweight. You also don't know how to do like a boxer yeah, fight with a gangster, sometimes it will drain your energy, I will say, drain your energy. So that group of people, we are also try to approach and start to educate them how to proper maintain their their thing. So for example, different design, different detailing. Upwash, you can even a position of the scupper drain. Okay, you will have different detailing. So you cannot copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. So this is something that we work with some developers, architect to actually see, just review the drawing before we submit. Because uh, during this, the communication between the specification team and also the architect important. At first stage, specification team will give you the specify clause. Okay. Then only sometimes the architect come out with the drawing. Then, but in between, the communication already broke down. New drawing come out, but our specification team does not aware. Then maybe some things will go wrong. Then the thing go out for tender. Then argument happen during the project stage. So please, for example, Jane here is our specification team. Talk to the specification team. Let them also like your project. They know what happened to your project. Then they know how to advise. They're aware the things that maybe you miss out because you are busy. You're the director. Let us carry some of the waterproofing advice on that. So the position of the scupper drain is basically affected by the gradient. How you do your gradient. Okay, how should terminate, okay, all these things of the waterproofing. In some cases, after the construction, downpipe penetrate through, and we have certain place that we find that there is a big hole there, and hand cannot achieve. This also happen, especially on a lot of housing. Okay, so we do we go on site. Okay, this one you cannot see from the drawing. Definitely, drawing will wow very nice. The behind will be up to 300 nicely. No extra work to be do because draw a line and do the actual. But sometimes it's different. So of course we ask we have a meeting, main con applicators, developers, architect to actually we route this place nicely by the main con, and the waterproofers have to apply waterproofing as much as possible. And at the end, we do testing. We pour water behind it. Okay, let's say we pour for one whole morning. See whether the water seep into the kitchen or not, because it is attached to the kitchen ceiling. So this thing that we actually can do, base that we can verify this system works on site. Yeah, it's very layman. It's very no not much. It's just labor and some cool. Okay, for example, this test when we carry out this, okay, of course, the standard then spell we supply need to be on site. How we work, okay. So MAPE, we are fortunate enough. We invest a lot on technical service. I think we have the biggest technical service in among the compet our friends. So we actually assign, for example, this one we assign the technician to work together with the applicator. After the application, we spell out what main con need to be do. Applicator do the waterproofing. After how many days we do this testing. Uh, Contractor is still having the contractual with the applicator. We are just there to support. Contractor can call us, and normally when they call the applicator for certain all these important thing that we need to discuss, they will involve MAPE. Yeah. Yes. So for example, in this case, let's say we have a hole here, nobody will comfortable to give you 10 years warranty. That's why we need to find a way to achieve the 10 years warranty. Extra work need to be done. That's why we come up with all this testing, because warranty wise, we have our product warranty, which we specify the product. Applicator have to comfortable with the performance warranty. So this detailing need to be correct before they do. So the important thing is in line that we have this done, everybody in comfortable and it's recorded, then at the end of the project, we can issue all the warranties that the client needed. Yeah. If without this, a lot of times I would say in old projects, if the things doesn't communicate well, this hole will remain there. Most of the time, you have seen, we have seen things like that. So, but now with all the market involvement and with the group of applicators that we have, we confident that we can do tests like that to actually voice out the problem and we discuss. This is very important. Yeah. And protection of waterproofing work. A lot of times, applicator apply the product. The next day, the screeder come in, the waterproofing gone. Happen every day, every day. Every week I receive, oh, this one cannot redo again, redo. So a lot of actually applicator need to go back to the site and redo a lot of times. Yeah. So so this is the thing that the applicator need to be aware. They need to check back before after certain subsequent work onto the waterproofing. And in this case, a PVU unit, after the waterproofing done, scaffolding sit on it directly. All this is the damage to the waterproofing. Proper, of course, this one we need to talk to the main con, how to actually protect it. Uh, and in the case of my experience, we work with Gamuda, they already have the team to actually help us to control the main con as well. Because you just let the main con lead the site, sometimes it doesn't happen. So the developer themselves also start to have a hand on it to actually help us to organize all this. And yeah, work after burn mark, after the welding works on top of waterproofing, unknown repair work done. Sometimes the welder also very creative by themselves. Okay, oh you got one big hole already. Hardware shop because the easiest way ma. Then they just patch with something that we don't know. So it also happens. It also happens. So this case is that how the different party we can actually communicate. Okay, this actually is the basic of humans communication how we talk to each other, but we are too busy. Everyone is too busy. That's why something like beam come up. How every party know what is happening on site. Of course, this is something that heavy investment, and I'm not sure it's already practically implement in Malaysia already. Software always sounds good, but when you want to implement a lot of things, but definitely it will ask you to spell out all the specification that you need, and the contractor need to agree to actually record video, maybe CCTV on site. This is how Japan is starting to do. Singapore want to implement it. Still far away from us, but this system basically just let us know that the project need communication between each party. That is very important. Yeah, I got one Singapore applicator talk to me. Hey, we are going to invest in this, and we know when is the waterproofing work is going to done. I can give you a better forecast. Now I ask applicator a lot of times cannot forecast because supposed to be July work suddenly August delay, or sometimes June I need to apply already because catch the schedule. Things will happen. So all this will also affect our stock keeping, all these things. So team basically for me is just a communication tools between the parties. Yeah. So another idea of owner maintenance. Okay. A project, let's say a high-rise project, architect, developers, maybe developers is longer time, supplier, applicators. We get involved with the project for 2 to 3 years. The remaining 50 years is the owner have it, the MC, the JMB have it. They also have their role to play with. For example, a lot of times they do not know the limitation of waterproofing. Okay, a simple waterproofing bonding test. Now, when people receive the key, they start, hey, there's one guy waiting out of the guardhouse. Hey, you want to do defect check or not? 300 ringgit per unit. Then they will carry 1,000 sticker. The objective is to stick all the 1,000 stickers. Then they perform. So the KPI is already wrong. So they do this type of water ponding. Okay. Okay, you know the waterproofing is something like that. Then sometimes even the waterproofing, when they do the water ponding, there is more than the already over the waterproofing membrane. then they seep up to the bedroom, then they say waterproofing fail. So this is the thing that we need to educate the general market. Okay. So this is something happens. It do happens. Okay. We receive a lot of this complaint last few years when they are doing very high. They want to pond the water as high as possible. Okay. Which actually is not the purpose of the toilet. Okay. If your toilet is ponding, please go and flush your got problem already. Okay. Then we have a simple, actually, owner need to clear the downpipe. This one, yeah, in Malaysia, you cannot, got a lot of rain, a lot of leaf, you just make sure the downpipe can flow with the water, okay? And of course, when you want to do repair work on the waterproofing, okay, seek professional advice, okay? For example, this is a acrylic coating that patched with a cementitious product, which is not UV resistant. It will crack eventually. Then they make the problem worse. Then they call the owner. Hey, I want to claim back the waterproofing warranty. Negligence. They try their way. Then they come. They should actually start to call the applicator first who give the warranty. Then we check, we solve the problem professionally, okay, effectively. And there are a lot of things happening on the rooftop. Water tank installation, the additional thing onto the rooftop that doesn't involve the waterproofing, even though the exposed waterproofing is here. They just need to call up the warrantor and just see what is the preventive step need to be done. Okay. So this is the last of a video just to show you a refurbishment project and how many things need to be done before a good projects, I mean, with waterproofing work can come out. So please bear with me. So this is in KL, Mahkamah Sharia. So each step have to be into the specification. It's not an easy job, but it's doable. So this is the typical slab that we see. We go there, we see a screed that we've cracked, but we do not see the waterproofing. There's nowhere to patch repair in that case. Different kind of surface. So different kind of surface, different kind of treatment. You need to specify different primer or different equipments to do the surface prep. So what you need to do for the surface prep. Hollow screed, we need to dig out. We water jet the strong sound screed. We provide the surface, concrete surface preparation, the roughness of the surface. Because old slab is always dirty lah. Very dirty, contaminated. And certain area with not enough gradient, a lot of water ponding, we use epoxy mortar to create the gradient. So the water won't will not stay there anymore. It will flow out to the drainage. Then we have our primer. This is our polyurethane system. We will have our primer on top. Do it primer correctly. So this is all the thing we need to do for surface prep. Low spot, crack, termination, crack repair. Then this only start the waterproofing work. This is the primer, epoxy primer, and polyurethane is a product that spray on using a special machine. So this also spell out in the specification. So not a lot of applicator, because all applicators say they can do everything one. But this actually differentiate the different applicators. So you can see different substrate, different kind of detailing, and a lot of small roof. Okay. Okay. Just this video is just to show you refurbishment project. To do a good refurbishment, a lot of steps. And all these steps should be specified in the project to actually make sure the work can carry out without a lot of just now I show what the specification provide to you. Clarity, precision, cost control, all this will not be an argument during the project because drain your energy only. And we cannot achieve a good projects at the end. So, and another questions that I always get from uh, the market. So what is the difference between you and other manufacturer? So many manufacturer, I believe not less than 10. Okay. In during my time join Mape, it's like we have 5 major one. Now I think 10 to 15 easily you can get. So of course, to support you all on all this, of course, specification, yes, we can provide on paper, but the subsequent work, support on site, the salesperson that know how, the one that you talk to, maybe it's not me, okay? Maybe it's our branch representative or our spec team. This is what our company is doing differently. We want our spec and sales know what they can provide to you. They are trained to do technical stuff with you. It's not that this one good, Mister, it is very good, but they cannot tell you why this is good and why you need to do that. So in our company, we try to train our team to be technical sound. And let's say you are, of course, we also have the support from uh, me, for example, or Mr. Lim to actually talk about really complicated cases. So the what we can provide is always we are as a partner. We want to know more of your project. From there, we will provide our experience as much as possible. Okay. And from, of course, on site, we have our technical team to actually support you. And at the end, our investment on the factory is to make sure the product that come out from the factory quality is assured. Okay. For example, we are doing normal chemical. Sometimes it's acrylic coating, sometimes it's what, but you want to produce 1,000 tons of acrylic coating yearly with the same quality, that is a challenge. That's really a challenge. So this is also what we can provide, how we invest. If you have chance, please visit our Nilai plant, or in the future, I think our Johor plant is more Changi. So see how we actually control the batches of product that we provide to the market. So this is something different that you can actually take this also to to audit other suppliers, how they can. So you know what is the difference, because material can be not much difference. Okay, but how we the the ideology that we keep in mind to support the market is totally different in this. So thanks a lot. Okay, it's a brief specification briefing. Hope that everyone refresh that how important is the specification, and the only thing that we can support for on is actually standards, BS standards, BCA. That at the end, it maybe the only tools that you can use on the court. Hopefully, we don't go to the court situation, but this is a very good practice. We start to adhere to the standards, and from there, we start our project planning. So thanks a lot for your attention. So I would like to say any questions. Okay. But if you want more detail on how about our product, please call our representative Ryan. We can arrange a separate session to your office or something like that. Yeah, no harm. Oh, okay. Any questions? Mm. Is the system concealed lah, script on expose. Uh, uh, okay. Is Kosh on ah. big crack. Okay, normally this type of normally this type of situation, for example, this is low rise, not so worried. For example, if happen on high rise, we have to determine the crack first. This have to be involve some crack studying, structural crack or something that make that happens. For waterproofing side, after we settle the substrate issue, whether structural, if not structural, because these two different kind of track, we have different kind of repair method. Okay, we seal up or we do injection with epoxy. Okay, PU, yes, a lot of times the first thing will come to you is PU. But it doesn't actually solve the main issue whether we solve the structural crack or non-structural crack. So we will study the crack first. Okay, the crack, I mean, there are external parties that do this sort of crack studying. Then we go on top. Okay, if the waterproofing is seeable, we can see exposed system. We will have to check where is the leakage. Maybe you already see the upturn already done, or the joint. Let's say it's torsion membrane. Normally the joints need to fill. Okay, then we need to propose what is the suitable product to be applied, either on top of it, okay, or you remove the layer and do. So for waterproofing, actually, when you want to do patch repair, it's only for old system lah. We normally will ask you to do the whole thing. Okay, only the new one we will do patch repair because the old one 5 years. Okay, you check here, I cannot patch here because I don't know where the other spot will fail tomorrow. So if you want talk about a warranty, the full slab have to be redo again. That is the only proper way to do a re-waterproofing job. So, but always our product apply on the substrate. Substrate is the main thing. Make sure the substrate is good. The crack is not, let's say, not non-structural. No need to do any strengthening. Then we carry out the repair work. Then we do the waterproofing. So the proper way. A lot of people will skip the more important one, the crack repair. Then they apply new waterproofing, the crack continue, then it will started to have all this issue. The root cause, we always go back to the root cause before we do the re-waterproofing.
Can I start? Is there anyone outside? I think I will just start first. Can probably start. Okay, so hi everyone. My name is Coco, and then actually I'm from Mapei, KL. So today I will talk a little bit about a very trendy sport, which is our pickleball sports. Okay, so actually before we have all these trendy sports, right? This is the most traditional street games you will see during your childhood, maybe. Like for example, the gully game, some gassing and something. I'm familiar with all these games because actually I'm quite young, but then maybe you know all these games is the traditional street games. After that, some very traditional classical sports in Malaysia. We will have badminton, for example, football, and then tennis. Tennis is actually quite trendy in Malaysia. And then we have volleyball. Actually, until last year, we actually all the clubs we did is all these lah, basketball, football, all these classical sports you can find in your daily life. But actually, for all these sports, right, there's a few disadvantages, I would say, for the general public. It's because first thing, you have a very steep learning curve. Like for example, for beginners like us, we cannot suddenly go on the court and then play with the professional players, right? Because actually this one you will require a long time to learn to pick up the sport and everything. And for all these sports, it's actually quite that your stamina requirement is actually quite high lah. So it's actually not so inclusive for all ages lah. So usually young people will be more invested in all these sports. And then for all these sports, right, you are not very expensive equipment. Like for example, your shuttlecock, you have to replace from time to time. So everything is very costly. So until last year, if you are in KL, I'm sure in Penang also, you will see a pickleball sports coming. It's actually a very trendy sport, very new, very young, very trendy sports that is happening in Malaysia. In Europe, right, the past 3 years it has been very, very trendy. But actually, until this year, like, it started over Malaysia sports. Okay, so is it so acceptable to the general public, this sport? Actually, there's a few very good advantages lah. First thing is actually it's very easy for you to pick up. All ages, no matter what's your stamina like, your family can pick up, can go to play together. Because actually everybody is starting from same starting point, right? Right. So after that, also for the physical intensity, actually the requirement for this physical intensity is rather low lah, because it's actually created for elderlies. Like for example, all the retired tennis players, football players, if they want to continue being like sporty, usually they will be going into pickleball courts. And for the construction of view, of course, this court actually the space needed to build these courts is actually very small. So lower cost to build all these courts, and then also for this court because it's not so tired after you play all this sport lah. So it will after that you can still like social a bit, and then you can still drink here and there. So that's why suddenly it becomes popular in all over the world. In Malaysia, I think beginning from last year, suddenly it become very, very popular. There's a few reasons for that lah. So the first reason is influencer. You can see influencers like, for example, Perry from Penang, all the whole Kwan family, and then also, for example, So I'm Jen. They are actually very, very invested in all these sports. So celebrities and then also some athletes like Lee Chong Wei, like Tan Bing Soon, they are also very, very invested in these sports, and then they post a lot in social media. That's in the young people generation, it's actually very famous, this sport. The exposure is really high. And then after that, also some competitive athletes, which is still competitive now. Like for example, this Colin, they actually looking for other sports to go to. So a lot of them is also converting to pickleball court, to pickleball lah. And then also when, of course, when this trend took over social media, right, they are starting to have a lot of community groups forming. Like for example, in KL, you have a very famous one called the Pickleball Gang Club, something like that. They actually ask for a lot of people whether you want to join open play or not. They invite a lot of people to social around, or they will do some special events lah. Like for example, they will do events for single people, for example, and then for some ex-tennis athletes, so they will build a lot of community groups, which also why leads to this trend. And then also a lot of universities is starting to convert their existing courts into pickleball courts. There's a obvious reason why. It's because, like for example, you see this tennis court, you can actually convert to 4 pickleball courts, but this is very sempit one lah. So if you want more spacious one pickleball court, actually you can convert to 3. One tennis court you can convert to 3 pickleball courts. So actually in KL, sports arena is starting to convert their futsal court, because futsal court, the revenue is not that high lah, according to them. So a lot of them is starting to convert all these futsal courts into their pickleball courts. So okay, so talking about courts, right? Because actually even before pickleball courts, we have been quite active on all these sports surface industry lah. So actually we built a lot of courts here and there, and we I summarize some issues you can find in the public courts in Malaysia. So the first thing is, of course, very, very common one. Cracks. You can see a lot of courts with cracking here and there, which is actually quite dangerous for the players lah. And then second, surface peeling off. Surface peeling off. So you can see a lot of the public courts, especially the government courts, you can see some black peeling off here and there. especially the line marking, usually it will be the worst. Okay. And this is actually a very, very dangerous thing for the players, I will say. Because when your court is not properly constructed, you will have water ponding. So when you have water ponding, of course, it will be very slippery. When the players go and play, they might slip and fall. And then also for all this undulation, it's actually a court in Alice Selangor court in KL. So actually, undulation, they even they know there's some undulation here and there, they just open to the public. And actually, some fell down here and then he has a very bad fracture on his leg. So actually a very, very dangerous thing to the players. Okay, so now because we are going into pickleball courts, right? When if you know the rent for pickleball courts is quite expensive. It can go until 60, 70 ringgit per hour. So compared to other sports, the players actually has more requirement for this pickleball courts because they pay very expensive costs. And then also because this sport is very trendy and in KL it's the kids are not swimming. So you can see courts here and there. So that's where the comparison comes in. When you have sometimes the pickleball court, the pickleball players will start to see all these things. So this is actually a court we built in Sungai Buloh, KL. So the very, very important thing to the players they see is first thing is actually this anti-skid of the ball. What is anti-skid? For example, if your surface, you have a very, very slippery surface, and your ball hits the surface, right, it will slide. It won't directly bounce. That's when the speed gets lower. Is where the anti-skids come in. Anti-skid is first. And second, of course, for the players' safety, it will be the anti-slip of the players. So of course, the chalks have to be to a certain roughness. If not, the players will slip and then will fall. Of course, they are also looking for something that is slightly more friendly. Meaning if you for prolonged hours, because honestly, nowadays all those pickleball players they are quite like no chill and they will play every day, 3-4 hours a day. If your is too hard, I will say they will feel it. They will feel it. And then of course also most important thing for sports is the consistent ball bounce. You have to have a surface with a very consistent ball bounce. You can have your ball. If your ball hit here, it will bounce like that. Hit there, it will bounce like that. This is one thing that they emphasize really, really a lot. And then also the aesthetic because it has to be for Instagram because this is a young people sports, right?
But you know what she's trying to explain? For example, very important is anti-skid. I myself, at first when I see statement, I didn't know what it means. But when I went to play, but actually I actually play, how can I get hit the ball? At first I thought I have no skill or whatever, but it does really happen. Because imagine if a floor just now go through you the previous picture on your picture. And also if the survey quality is not consistent. Okay, we will tell you later you will show some
Yes, I will show.
comparison what survey for back survey. Imagine if the survey is not consistent, the ball, ping pong people here, or tennis. You know what? You can spin the ball, right? You play the ball with speed, how ball is gonna happen. So when you spin the ball actually twist. Then the ball will twist. So when you hit the ball is not up, it's actually with speed. So when you skip, be careful. When you skip, you try to do as a player, you try to impact. So every time your pedal the floor. Pedal expensive, eh? The whole one pedal is expensive. Some of them are really in 1,000 ringgit. So when you hit the floor, look at the floor damage, pedal damage, and you don't shoot already. Then I will go to play pickleball, some of my colleagues are just strong. They every time take ball with me.
Yeah.
Very, very. I so have to consider this. Listen to my wife. If you
you have to go around with a few pickleball court when you play, yeah. Then you will realize which brand is the best. I don't want to tell you now, but of course, I love that. You know, then you know what they are doing. You cannot just play the ball without attacking. That is why a pickleball court is filled up by a lot of people. It's not one finishing good. A lot of people think, you know, the 10, that's it, finish. But you know shot one when you play. It's not badminton, you know, badminton, the ball the floor. It's not really, so really
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. So also on the consistent ones, because recently, a lot of people is going to use rubber roll or vinyl roll, the badminton material also. So actually for that rule, some of the suppliers will claim the ball will bounce, but I will always recommend the owners to go and try first, because according to KL market now, it's actually going for just acrylic for all these pickleball courts. Reason is because when this trend just started, a lot of people go for interlocking, a lot of people go for rubber fall, and actually the review from the players is really, really bad because the ball cannot bounce at all. So in KL now, their conclusion from the players is acrylic is the most suitable surface for this pickleball court lah. Okay, before we build a court, right? Similar to every flooring thingy, the substrate is actually very, very important for your courts. The most common 5 substrates we will see lah is of course freshly laid premix, and then of course concrete, new concrete, and then if you are doing refurbishment, maybe old asphalt, old concrete, or some other old substrate with some existing coating on top lah. So it's actually the most common 5 substrates we will see. Okay, and then we start from concrete first. Of course, if you were to build a court, any courts, not only pickleball court, any courts on a concrete surface, yes, you can, but you can only do it when your court is indoor or with a roof. Because for concrete standard, your concrete has to be more or less leveled because of your court. You cannot be too undulated, right? And then also because our foot system is only less than 2 mm, so more or less it will follow your surface contour. Your floor has to be more or less leveled. And then also when you cast concrete, make sure you power float it, and then you have sufficient joints. Everything is quite standard for concrete. But reason why you can only use this concrete in indoor or semi-exposed areas because it's because concrete is actually very dense. So on our experience, right? If you do outdoor without a roof, maybe within 6 months, you can see a blisters coming up already. This is because of the moisture trapped inside your concrete. And then when you lay something that is like these non-flammable things on top, because you will have the pressure build up within your concrete, right? So you have all the blisters coming up. So for our brand, we actually emphasize a lot on these concrete things. So other parts we don't do on concrete at all. So of course, this is all the phenomena you can observe when you do the pots outdoor. Like for example, first thing, the most common thing is this blistering, especially after rain. Like you know, Malaysia has a very, very high rainfall, right? So blistering, and then this is after they have all these defects, they start to patch here, patch there. So your pots is like aesthetically not so pleasing, honestly. And then common one of cracks, and then this peel off is when you have distance and then the players continue to play on top. Of course, you can start to observe a lot of peeling off. So can the taman kids and observe, these are actually very, very, very common.
yeah. But a lot of people say, oh, I can use some cementatious that on top I put cannot. Cementatious very economical system. They say, oh, I have a waterproofing issue. Then on top I put this system. After to you is over because the material has different
So if the anchoring system is not then the tendency for anchoring system may not crack, but crack, right? Then you still have a problem. Then eventually will lead to the crack.
好，我先给你的下。可是这个它的 AI 照应该对你没有太大帮助，因为我是直接上网 copy 一个 poster。
Then how do we chop? So the prop and the code, the prop eventually. So these are the very important when people think, especially for outdoor part.
Yeah.
I mean, pickleball don't have any outdoor part, but we share it. Even when if I do sport club, I doesn't like ball. Reason being why? Because concrete has a tendency for moisture. Speed is not moisture. When we talk moisture, before. So when you enclose gas, create a pressure. So the liquid will actually push the what so when the people get needed, think for what and what has to be what the place up to right.
Okay. Okay, so like Lim say lah, actually for outdoor court, we have not saying you cannot build any courts on outdoor. You can, but you need a premix substrate. So these are the very standard requirements we need for the premix substrate. Of course, for the surface that is reserving your courts, you have to use the final grade for the premix lah. Cannot be the road grade lah, because the road grade is too rough. So for final grade, usually they go for ACW10. And then also, of course, when you cast your premix, you have to compact it properly so that it won't have any ondulation and then won't have any loose particles. And then of course, for outdoor pots, the most important thing, like Lim said, is the gradient lah, because you have to make sure the water won't be staying on your courts. And then also, after you cast premix, make sure you allow the premix 2 weeks at least for the premix to be completely cured. If not, you have a lot of black oil coming up when you do your acrylic courts lah. So these are the examples we do in KL lah. Actually, this is the premix substrate. So you can see actually it's a fine grade of premix lah. Actually, the premix grade is fine. It's not supposed to be too rough. So you don't have to worry about the roughness because of the grade. If you use ACW10, it will become like that. Then after that, we will have a few layers laying on top. And then after that, the surface will be complying to your spot standards. Okay, so these are some examples of some premix pots we do. For example, this one is actually in Klang, KL. It's a rooftop pot. So, of course, initially it will be concrete. And then what we did is we actually topped up with a 40 to 60 mm premix. And then after that, we lay the sports court on top. Actually, the condition of the court, I think now is already 3-4 months. It's still very, very good. You don't have to really worry about the blistering issue for premix. And also, like Lim said, of course, for players will feel it. Some players, they even do premix indoor lah, because they feel it's better for their knees like that. Rooftop.
So they converted the prop. And then we went
Yeah.
Okay. So but what happened is we attended that one put in the coffee, which is very dangerous. But at the end of the day, they
owner finally decided to put a layer of premix, protected, that only play on. And today, really nice. We don't like what we already
Concealed in the, yeah.
but this is a very now we do have a system. Listen, now we do have a system which we can waterproofing. Then after that, the spot floor delay. So this is a very lightweight solution. But of course, the system is not cheap. It's a high performance. So this is a very good system. It's Hanson just now also mentioned one of we can spray on top of the concrete, then we lay the spot on it. But be careful when you spray waterproofing all the gradient must be already covered. Because otherwise, after we completed the spot floor, then you start to see falling on the panel. Okay? So if not, you think about it, if waterproofing how then spray asphalt company for many layer, so the wind is also not practical. So in this case, we have
Yeah. They will need to hoist up. Yeah. That's why not all rooftop can do. Yeah, yes, need to calculate. Yeah. 15. Okay, so also you can see like for example the green one, this is actually a very famous court in PJ. This is by the owners of Kenny Hills Baker. I'm not sure whether you know, but actually Kenny Hills Baker actually opened a branch here also recently. It's just next to their restaurant, so it's aiming all the atas community lah. And then this one is a semi-exposed court. You can see actually they have roof. They did this for the court area, they put premix. Yes, usually the owners that Sendiri is players lah. Like for example, this one, the both owners are ex-tennis players, now pickleball players. They prefer premix because they feel first, it's more friendly to their knees. And then second, they feel it's easier to maintain also lah. It is because you don't really have to, you don't have much concerns on the cracks and everything. So relatively, it's more durable. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So yeah, our advice is always go for darker colors lah. First, also for the contrast of the line is better, and then second most important thing for the owners is the maintenance. Okay, so for we start to get into all these pickleball sports surfaces things since last year, and then actually we did quite a lot of pickleball courts around Malaysia. It's actually a very new thing to everyone. They don't have a certification or some organization that's regulating these surfaces. We found our Italy practice lah. In Europe, they actually use tennis system for pickleball courts. It's because the mechanism with tennis is actually more or less the same lah for pickleball courts. The ball will bounce on the floor and then they will bounce to your opponent lah. Actually, we are going for tennis system. Later I will talk about the regulation for tennis system lah. For our system, first thing is when we use tennis system because it's actually applied a lot of times. So we have a very strict record for the bounce speed. And for our clubs, if you can see from our sample, it's very vibrant and colorful. I will talk further later also. And also we will always recommend the correct surface preparation to the contractors and to the owner so that the court is durable. Okay, so I think Lim just passed the sample down. Okay, here. Okay, so you can see from our Sorry. Okay, so actually for our system, that's a very, very special thing about our system compared to other local brands or other brands lah, which is lower in cost. So the very special thing about our system is our system is built of 5 layers, right? So for the 2 layers, which is not tinted with the color, which is this base coat layers, we are actually using acrylic base coat. For the competitors you can see in the market, they are using bituminous base coat, which during application is quite obvious lah because it's black color one. So for this bituminous base coat thing, they have a very, very disadvantage thing, which is bituminous base, especially when you do on auto pots, hardened and brittle over time. When I say over time, it's actually not long lah. It's less than 6 months. You can see everything coming already. When your bituminous is brittle, right, it will peel off very easily. Actually, these two photos is taken from some new pickleball courts in KL. You can see everything is starting to peel off, and then you can see the bituminous space already. But for our case, you don't have to worry about this bituminous thing because we don't use any bituminous product in this system. So our price system, you don't have to worry about the thing getting hardened. It's more durable lah. You won't see all this thing peeling off and won't see the black color thing. Because actually when the cord peel off, it also poses a safety risk for the players also lah. And then after these 2 layers of base coat, we have 2 layers of the finishing layers we call. So 2 layers of finishing layers is actually tinted with color. We import the materials from Italy, but when we import them, they are without any color. And then we tint the color locally in our Nilai factory, depends on what color you choose. So for the about us compared to others is we have a very range of standard colors. Because usually for other brands, maybe they only have 5 or 6 standard color, the red, the blue, the green. But for we actually have 36 standard colors. And then the colors you can see is very, very vibrant. Like for example, this is a basketball court we built in Kota Kemuning. They actually have 11 or 12 colors. So they have a very wide range of colors, and the color is very vibrant. Because our material is actually very, very resin rich. Uh, for the fading also, our fading degree compared to others is also much slower. So you can see, this is a test we do 1,000 hours. We expose the thing to something related to simulating the sun. So you can see the delta E, which is the fading degree, is actually very, very low lah. Than one actually your eye cannot really tell. And for this whole system, as a system wise, as I said, our system consists of 4 to 5 layers. The whole system is actually in acrylic. So that's the good thing about our system lah. When you have the whole system coming from the same family, which is acrylic material, of course the bonding is better lah, compared to you bond acrylic to bituminous, right? So when you have everything that is acrylic, bonding is much better. And then this about our system is because we are using tennis system, right? About our system is actually we are ITF certified. ITF is actually International Tennis Federation, and then they have a few levels for their standard. They have level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The level you can see from here, ITF 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The level meaning the faster the ball bounce for tennis, not for pickleball, for tennis. But as I say, because pickleball, they don't have any regulation now, so we just stick to this ITF 4. Of course, it is not a compulsory for pickleball lah, because this is a tennis thing. But I will always tell them it's a good to have, because if we are certified for this, meaning our surface, everything is very consistent. At least you can make sure it's a consistent ball bounce, and then you can make sure you have the anti-skid of your ball lah.
Those professional like Melbourne different. So say already, the ball bounce. From the TV, we see the ball like very slow, but actually the ball out already. Then
This is for tennis.
football. So we didn't usually go for people.
It's not bounce.
They stick preference and we think and then in Europe also the same.
Yeah, Europe actually they also use tennis system, but sometimes they use 1, they use 4, they use 5. Depends on their requirement.
Basically, it's good, but the grain size they have a rubber. That kind of market works.
Okay. Mainly about this system, why we separate it out is because of this ITF cert. So for this particular tennis system, it complies to the ITF standard. So before that, we only use for tennis court. But right now we are using for pickleball court also lah. Okay, and then so this, if you can see from these two surfaces, this is actually a surface we take from our competitors' court, and then this is the one we take from our own courts. So you can see the roughness, just see the consistency lah. It's actually very, very big difference here. If you see from this court, the consistency of the surface roughness is not consistent at all. So when you have a lot of problems. First thing, like Lim say just now, the ball will skid very badly lah. So the ball will of course skid, and then it will be of course more slippery compared to our courts. And then the most important thing is your ball bounce. Your ball bounce wouldn't be consistent. The ball bounce will be different when it hits every different spot. It's a very turn off to all the players lah, this inconsistent ball bounce. So like Lim say, when the ball skid, when you try to save the ball, you will damage your pedal, damage your shoes also lah. If you can see your surface, the is actually very, very consistent. When you have a very consistent surface roughness, your ball first thing it won't skid lah. This is actually verified by all our past customers. For our courts, really the skidding of the ball is actually the less. And then also for players, it won't be slippery, and then also the ball bounce will be very, very consistent. Like competitors like this, why they have this issue? Because their material requires the contractors to mix in sand for the finishing layer. Whereas for us, because we are already qualified for the ITF, right? For our finishing, the sand is already pre-mixed in your material, so they don't have to add any sand. So you can see it's very consistent. Even the size of the sand, everything is very consistent. But for this competitor, when they add in more sand, because the owners will complain, why your court not rough enough, then the contractors will add in more and more sand. When you add more sand in, of course, your ratio will be a bit off already lah. And then, of course, when your filler is more than your binder, you have a lot of issues coming up. For example, all the peeling off, all the cracking, everything lah. Yeah.
Ultimately provide anything a lot of sand. Right? You go to buy the keropok, you say keropok, one got done, one got a lot of flour. It's the same thing, you can sell 120, same thing. So the content is the accurate. Whereas the ITF, the people can see it. You cannot give that. Because if I add It's not a people anymore. So player will know whenever they pull out, the ball bounce back. I know a lot of they invested in this stock, right? How long they want to go? They want to go for long term. Then of course we are not telling them to go short term. This is like what we're coming from. You want people to come and play. No point that you make 40 ringgit floor today, but no people come. First they complain about the floor. Right? Today is different. Today really not the young friend is not looking for cheap, but they're looking for really enjoy. I mean that 1 hour, 2 hours, Because if you talk 60 ringgit per hour, then but four people play. What is the difference? One is they give 50 ringgit. Maybe different by less than 10 ringgit. They give.
Yeah, and then
Short-term like you just talk you all that kind of 40 ringgit for you the and kind of thing. So I'm interested how long is you can of course you of even you understand no issue at all. So don't just judge my work. Later on, we'll give you some voucher, I understand.
yeah. Oh yeah. Applies to one hour, 1 hour.
You just go there and it's the best say in the island according to the public. Indoor.
You know lah, later we will review. Later we will review.
I really enjoy. The first I mean, really going that way. Okay, so let's continue.
Okay. Okay, so this is all about the surface, but let me show you some past projects. Actually, this is the first pickleball courts we do in Malaysia using our tennis system. Actually, a court that really set the standards for all other owners. Because we actually have a very big banner there also. We have a lot of leads from this court. Some of these owners, actually all these owners, they are themselves are the competitive players for pickleball. But because before last year, there are no courts in Malaysia at all. They will use badminton courts, for example, tennis court, for example, to play their pickleball courts. They'll just randomly put up a post and then they will just play there. So actually, of course, the athletes from other sports will complain, right? So these owners end up they decided to, okay, I will just build my courts. So they are using our system because they want the best surface, and then we just go with ITF4 like the one I presented just now. Before this place is actually a basketball court using interlocking. So of course we remove all the interlockings. We found out that the basketball court is actually a parking space. So what we do is, of course, we do some mechanical to remove all the hardener and then all the line marking. We remove everything, and then after that we lay from our whole system from the primer until the 2 layers of base coat until this finishing. Actually, until now, when the competition is getting like so bad in KL, this is still full every day because the technical competitors, competitive players, they will go for this court because this court also for the space and the fencing they set a very, very good standards for all the owners. We actually did a tournament there also. This t-shirt done by Cynthia. So we invited some of our customers to play here and then also to let them understand what's the difference between our courts and then other people's courts. Okay, and then this is some aesthetic aesthetic courts lah. So this is a court in Puchong. They actually use the Baskin Robbins color, pink, and then they call it the Baskin Robbins courts. This is a very good example for indoor courts that is using premix. Ones purposely go for premix one because they heard some good things about premix from the market lah. So they know what's the good things about premix. For this one, there's a very interesting story because on the same street itself, just one street, there's 3 pickleball facilities using all different brands. This is why they decided to put our branding here voluntarily for free. They just put here because they want to show to the players they are actually using our brand. Because our brand now they feel that it's like a very high standard court lah. So they just put here. So until now there are 3 courts, so it's a very like direct competition. You can see what's the competition there. Until actually for this the business is still good. But for their neighbors, actually the business is not that good. Because of the court stealing and everything. So people just go for this court. So this is a very good example of using our courts is really different. Okay, and this is the one mentioned just now. 50 courts on using premix. So they actually price the premix up, price everything, and then they start to compare. And then I think I'm not sure whether it's operating already or not lah. But this is the results of the courts. So they have half of them are indoor courts. This pink one is indoor courts, and then also half of them are outdoor courts lah. Yeah, 15 courts in total. Yeah. Rooftop. One World Hotel. One World Hotel. Yeah, but because their other courts are not ready yet because of the weather. So it's keep dragging lah. Also, this is the court I mentioned just now, the one by Kenny Hughes Baker. This is also a very famous court in KL now. All the atas people will go there. So for them, they want to create a park concept because their name is called Baker Park. So they want to like simulate a park green concept. So they go for green color. For some houses and some residents, they also started to do. So like for example, for this one just now we showed the Klang South one, we actually did 8 courts on their rooftop. And then also for Gamuda Gardens in Rawang, this is actually a new wellness clubhouse. They also did 7 or 8 courts with our materials, fully exposed on premix. And then also they choose a lot of weird colors lah. Colors is actually very, very dirty now. So your choice of colors is very important. This is our first premix project in Penang. So this is just now Lim mentioned what they call the best court in Penang lah. Good. Do you know? Yeah. Do you know this court? Yeah, I think just nearby, right? It's in Jelutong. So this, they are doing on premix and then other are on concrete. So if you want to feel also, you can go this court and feel. Different rental, different price.
So if you used to play, then you listen to what say feelings at all. The whole thing, feeling of everything. And also your expenses too lah.
If you want to buy pedals also they will sell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's correct. Yeah, so actually the owner is same lah, very satisfied with our thing. So actually they are planning to open more around Penang, even mainland or island also. They are planning to open. Yeah. So a lot of youngsters is there. Oh, Okay, so this is actually our first court here. Lah. This is our second court here, and then this is a more high profile courts by the Kwan family. So it's in D Plaza Mall. Is it? I'm not sure. D Plaza Mall. So it's actually by Kwan family, Perry Kwan. Perry Kwan is an influencer lah. And then he's actually very, very into this whole pickleball thing. So they built their courts here. This one, they are going for a beach concept and some practical concepts. So
It's basically take up by out of the 35
yes, this is customized.
that define the. So these that you think about it, in architect you have other different concepts. That is what I think is good. It's not easy to color but for shit it. The money more expensive. Same price. I think there is same price. But you have sometimes you have to return some of the colors. And then in the difference the UV resistant tend to take faster than before. Because for example, purple,
Yeah, purple.
actually more.
Yeah.
The table one is from the 35 color.
All is very stable, honestly. All is very stable. Okay, so for this court, actually they are converting from some existing futsal court, if not mistaken. I think it's futsal or volleyball. So before they are using rubber rolls for the previous courts. What we did is when we remove this rubber rolls, we realized that the substrate quality is really, really bad. So we actually did a lot of repairing here and there. And for this, they cannot do any premix because the shops are still operating. When you cause premix, you have the smell, right? So they cannot lay any premix. So we did some repair here and there. And then after that, this is using 4 layers of the base coat I mentioned just now. They actually use 1, 2, 3, 4 layers to make the floor more durable, they will say. Yeah, and then have very, very minor ondulation, less than 3 mm. It actually can be rectified by our base coat. Because our base coat got sand inside. So this one is a coat for AirAsia, internal stuff like AirAsia. So you can see, actually you can combine a lot of colors. You combine a lot of different sports on the same court. So it's actually pickleball plus basketball. Of course, not full court, plus don't know what court. A lot of courts here. Yes, Tony Fernandez say it's very urgent.
You want to play the ball, then you have to find so we think and also because of he is our client of Asian. We actually last year we did the biggest hangout more together of the and not this problem but industry boring system. So for appreciation also the country, you have to play pickleball, then you play with this
Yeah.
Very fast moving.
Yeah, so this one, the course is like quite special. And then also we did some floor. This is actually they convert from all their badminton and futsal court for some chain sports facilities like X Park. So we are doing X Park Tambun, Ipoh. And then we actually did Sunway, PJ South, Johor, Seremban, all around Malaysia. I'm not sure. Penang. I think Penang have, I think have. But maybe not island. They do extreme sports, but the name is X Park. Sunway one. You go Sunway Pyramid, you will have one. Belong to Sunway one. Belong to Sun. So a lot also pending a lot of upcoming courts with them. This one they converted from some futsal court one photo court, you can do 3 pickleball courts like this, which is like not too sempit one. I can do 3, 1, 2, 3 pickleball courts. And then some other project reference, Layang Park. This is a new project. This one is new project. New project, nothing one. And then some colorful pickleball courts. This is the Blackpink court. Blackpink court, avocado court. Whatever courts. So this one is in Sri Kembangan. And then this is also a very famous court in Malaysia. If your algorithm in Instagram or if your algorithm is targeted by pickleball contents, I'm sure you will see this court before because they do very good advertisement. They actually ask a lot of different players to play here. Pickle human. Double bounce, also some of our pre-mix court. This is pre-mix. This is of owners only one pre-mix. Pickle with me. You see, in KL, they converted a lot of warehouses to pickleball courts actually. This is also a very, very new project called Base. You can set their Instagram account. It's called Play at Base. Actually, they do a lot of contents about our material. So not sponsored. They do it because they want. Yeah, because they really like our product, then they just do it. So this is the owner that actually tells you what's the difference between 5,000 ringgit court and a 12,000 ringgit courts. Next week they will upload the reels, then you can see. Okay, so this is one of the reels by Perry Kwan introducing her court surface lah. I will show you. It's in Mandarin. I'm so sorry for the English speakers. So this is a video done by him lah. Basically, he's trying to say he's using MAPE for all the courts, and then the courts are all ITF certified. Yeah, this is the For peak hours, actually, you have to book way before your date lah. Okay, so that's all from me. Now I think Ryan will give some gifts, right? Okay, I will pass to Ryan. I will pass the floor to Ryan. Ryan will introduce himself.
Okay, I hope Coco, first of all, thank you very much, Coco. Give a applause to her. Interesting, right? I think she shared a lot of nice photo, nice reference. So who want to become the owner here? Pick up, we can help. Yeah, it's a good investment. Okay. So next, I would like to pass it to our branch manager in Penang, Ryan. He say some words, yeah. And then also he will give you some mystery gift, I believe. Okay, and Ryan.
All right. Thanks, Lim. First of all, I have a self-introduction. I'm Ryan. I'm actually the branch manager for Northern Region. So feel free to contact me anytime regarding pickleball, waterproofing, concrete repair, strengthening works. All right, MAPE, we actually have a lot of products that can cater for your needs. Secondly, thank you everyone for coming up, waking up so early on Saturday, coming to this event. And ultimately, we must have something to give back to you. So now, pass to Cynthia. She will have some rounds of lucky draw, sort of like lucky draw. So this time round, we have very good stuff, very, very good. In fact, we actually have a lot of collaborations, especially with our pickleball owners. So we can have a lot of collabs. You can see the social media. advertisings, or even like vouchers giving. So pass it to Cynthia first.
Okay, I actually just have 5 over thermal flasks. All right. Thermal flask is also a lifestyle thing, I believe. Nowadays, Montego, this branded one. So actually, it's a branded one also. 100+ ringgit. Now I will ask Architect Chong to pick up 5. I hope you can be neutral, yeah. Neutral.
It's not there.
Your name is not there. Okay. You can from the paper are the ones that register through online, and the cards are the one just being thrown the card. So you can pick anyone. You can pick 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more card. Maybe 6. All right. Okay. Let's you give away, right? Yeah. Okay. I will announce and then you can give away the okay, the first one from HH Lau Architect. Architect Lau Hian Hui.
Thank you.
Oh. Thank you, thank you. Next one from SM Wing Architect. Architect. His name is neutral one. Okay, the third one from Design Architect. Architect Yong Fan Sun. Yeah. Another one is SB New Management Services from Neo Sun Boon. Oh, he's very attentive at the back, actually. Even though he's sitting at the back, he's really attentive. Every slide, he's taking picture. Next is from Chang Kam Kwan Architect, Fong Kim Sui Architect. Oh. Then you can choose another one. Oh no, Boogie. Has to be here. AL Ang Architect. Architect Ang Ai. Oh yeah, she also pay attention. Yes. Another one actually, he registered under ASD. ASD. Oh, he gave the name ASD, the company also ASD. Okay, then next one. You can pick a paper one, maybe the paper one. Yeah, the register online. Okay. KH Architect, Tan Guan Kian Ho. Also balik. Paper one or balik. Let's go. Anthony Chan from Habitat Design Architect.
For him, he's a hiker.
Oh, most useful for him. Okay, hiker. Congratulations. So obviously for those who didn't get, we actually do have for everyone a free 1-hour pickleball session from all time pickleball club, pickle club. All right. So we'll pass to each one. All right. Obviously there's terms and condition inside. This is for you to try the court, our court. All right. In Penang. We try to get from Pickerland. Actually, we try to get from Pickerland, but they don't have time to do it. Yeah. I have an evaluation. No? Architecture, you want to say something first before we complete? I will try.
I need to flash something for you.
MC.
You like?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mape. We would like to also present a souvenir back to Mape. May I invite Chairman? Chairman? We would like to pass the souvenir to our speaker. The first speaker is Hanson. Handsome, yeah, handsome. Handsome. The next speaker is Coco. And also one more, we'd like to pass to you. Thank you, Mape, for sponsoring the event. Members, please remember to sign out.
Sign out, and then I do have lunch names here given. There's a Ang Iris Tan Lai Ting Yong. I need to read. So there's about 13 folks will be going to Passion of Kerala New Park, yeah, for lunch. Yeah. Walk. I have to walk there. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.